Hi everyone, Mike Stuchiner, Master Herbalist here with Z Natural Foods, and today's video is going to be a Master Herbalist perspective on a new product that was just launched by Z Natural Foods called Matcha Green Tea Cashew Milk Powder. But before we get started, two things. One, for more great herbal information, please go check out my YouTube channel at A Master Herbalist Perspective. And please don't forget to subscribe. Number two, we must do the medical disclaimer. The information you're about to receive is for educational purposes only and is not intended to treat, prescribe, or diagnose any specific medical condition and is not intended to be a replacement for your primary healthcare provider's information, diagnosis, and treatment protocol. With that said, let's get rolling. So, I'm quite sure that the Zen Buddhists and the Zen Buddhist monks and the people of Japan who honor tradition and precision never thought this polyphenol power-packed tea that creates the perfect balance of energy and calm could be taken to the next level. The practices handed down from generation to generation respect all aspects of matcha, from growing the perfect leaf to the traditional process of making a magnificent cup of matcha with meticulous precision. From raising in the optimal climate and harvesting at the right time of growth to the precise drying, grinding, and inspection process, it creates an unmatched end product with the perfect color, smell, texture, and flavor. And this elixir of the immortals could be considered one of nature's most wondrous creations. The creative minds at Z Natural Foods, who put the concept of time-honored tradition above all, have done it again by combining one of Japan's most traditional beverages with a nourishing, essential fatty acid-packed milk alternative to create a modern version of what some may call the perfect way to start your day. Let me introduce to you folks Z Natural Foods' newest creation. Organic matcha green tea cashew milk powder. With some hot or cold water and a shaker bottle are all you need to quickly create a creamy, delicious, and nourishing beverage that allows you to feel satisfied and focused for hours. But here's the deal, okay? From my perspective as a master herbalist, I am going to really focus on discussing one specific ingredient that is in this particular product because that is the true focus of the ingredient, and it is matcha green tea. Okay, and it's really, really important that we focus on this only because there is such a beautiful, rich culinary and ceremonial tradition behind matcha green tea. Okay, and that's why for this video I want to discuss some of the nuances that many people may or may not already know about, and that are really important to sort of hit home. That was me making a noise as if I'm hitting a home run. Did you get that? Okay, awesome. So, first and foremost, I want to discuss green tea versus matcha tea. Is there really a difference? You bet there is! Anyone who tells you that matcha green tea powder and ordinary green tea leaves are exactly the same thing has no understanding of the value that matcha brings to the table. I just knocked on a table, in case you're curious. While all common teas, black, green, white, come from the same plant, many essential things separate matcha from ordinary green tea. Depending on which harvest it comes from, I apologize. Standard green tea is cultivated under the sun, creating a dull green leaf with a brownish tone, processed and prepared by steeping parts of the leaves in hot water, boiled approximately at 220 degrees. Matcha is shade grown 3 weeks before harvesting, which increases the chlorophyll levels and gives matcha its vibrant green, bright color. It's processed by grinding up the entire leaf into a fine silky powder and prepared by slowly and meticulously whisking into water that does not exceed a temperature of 170 degrees. With matcha, you're consuming the entire leaf, providing you with a more broad spectrum of nourishment versus making what you would consider as a traditional infusion where you're removing that material from the drink itself. Okay? There are 3 great examples of how matcha is superior to what you would consider a traditional regular green tea, okay? It has more than double the ECGC properties, which is one of the polyphenolic compounds found in green tea and matcha, okay? It is more than 10 times the polyphenolic tannin levels compared to standard green tea. And the big, what I call home run hitter for what makes matcha really super special and unique, 10 times the L-theanine levels compared to standard green tea. Now, L-theanine, when we talk about the feeling that you're going to get from matcha, which is that perfect, what I call calm, focused feeling, okay, that allows you to be focused, calm, and very productive, unlike if you're drinking a cup of coffee, which makes you all jittery, okay? Yes, this does have caffeine in it, but it is the L-theanine, it is that combination of the polyphenolic compounds and the caffeine and the L-theanine that give you that perfect balance for a focused, calm feeling. Okay? L-theanine is a compound that's well studied and well known to help support healthy mood levels, to help people who have had issues with anxiety, and it's because L-theanine helps work on multiple GABA receptors within the brain and the nervous system. Okay? So the question now is, again, is all matcha created equal? Well, that's a good question. Okay? Like any other food, there is what is known as a grading system. And when looking at the qualities of matcha, in order to understand the different grades, it's essential to understand the factors that create them. The following are the basic guidelines to determine the status of a matcha powder: the color, the texture, the quality, fineness of the powder, how it's being stored, and the grinding process. But none of that is even coming close to what would be considered one of the most important things that really determines the end result quality and where it is and how it is being graded. And that is the harvesting time of year, okay? Depending on the harvest, it comes, the leaves come from, it will determine the price, the quality, and the rating of matcha, okay? The first harvest happens between March and May and is considered the highest end and marked as the most expensive in the Japanese tea market. This harvest has a more robust aroma, a deeper flavor, and 1 cup is always considered enough. The second harvest happens around June. It's a more well-rounded smell, a lighter taste, and can be drank more than once a day. Tea from the second harvest is often considered what you would call a more balanced version of the tea because it is not as concentrated in all these powerful constituents. So therefore you're having a slightly lighter version of that tea. Okay, and the third and fourth harvests happen usually between August and mid-September, and this is where you get most of the tea bags and bottled teas that come from this harvest and are often the lowest on the pricing scale. Okay, this is the grading system and the harvesting when it comes to most of the teas that grow in Japan. Okay. But it's important to understand that there are two grades of matcha. The first grade is known as the ceremonial grade. This is what is considered the top of the line matcha green tea powder from the first harvest of springtime. Okay? Because this harvest happens after the winter and the tea tree does not create any tiny sprouts during those cold months, it allows for a more robust nutrient storage. It makes a sweeter and more vibrant end product. And this powder is often described as vibrant green in color, a fine texture, and what would almost be considered a soft, silky taste in the mouth. Okay? And the reason is because it's made from the youngest hand-picked tea leaves where the stems and vines are completely removed. It is stone ground, and all you are left with is 100% fresh, young leaves. This grade of matcha is made explicitly for whisking in hot water with no sweeteners added, with nothing else added. That is why it is considered a ceremonial grade tea. A proper traditional ceremonial grade tea will leave you with a mild, sweet, grassy flavor on your taste buds and your mind in a very beautiful, tranquil place. But here's the kicker, folks. Be prepared to pay a premium price for this grade of matcha tea. The second is culinary grade. Culinary grade is created from the second harvest, which occurs around June, known to be slightly less nutrient dense and, depending on the time of the year, not quite as vibrant in color. Okay, this grade is slightly bitter with a more well-rounded grassy smell. This is what is often used for baking smoothies, lattes, because it has a bolder, less nuanced flavor designed to stand up to the other ingredients versus which is why you would really never want to use a ceremonial grade in a smoothie, because you want to taste those different flavors and nuances about the tea. I mean, that's what makes it special and unique. And you don't want to ruin it by adding sweeteners or anything else to it, because it already has its own natural sweetness to it. The other ingredient that I think is a real important ingredient in this particular product that I would like to highlight is the cashew milk powder. Okay, cashew milk powder. Cashews have this very creamy, rich, fatty flavor to them and fatty texture, which is probably, in my opinion, what makes it what I would consider to be one of the better choices to put into a product of this nature, because it gives that creamy end result so you can feel more nourished and satisfied by what you're drinking versus something that's very light and airy. This has a little bit more of a thickness and a density to it, and therefore you do feel more nourished and more satisfied for a longer period of time when utilizing a product of this nature. Okay, so organic cashews are fairly high in nutrition and have a broad spectrum of nourishing fats. 75% of their fat is unsaturated fatty acids, plus 75 of this unsaturated fatty acid content is oleic acid, which is the same monounsaturated fat found in olive oil. It's these nourishing fats that create a natural creamy texture that makes a perfect latte that, once again, does leave you feeling satisfied for hours on end, okay? Cashews are also a wonderful source of magnesium, which I call the unsung hero of the mineral world. Magnesium may play numerous critical roles throughout the body and is a cofactor in more than 300 biochemical enzymatic reactions supporting human health. Human studies have linked magnesium to possibly supporting healthy memory, healthy blood pressure levels, and potentially reducing risk factors associated with what is known as metabolic syndrome. Magnesium may also support a healthy nervous system for a more calming and peaceful mindset. So I want you to make the connection here, guys, because this is such a magnesium-rich food that adding it to a drink that is known to have what I've mentioned several times in this video as the perfect focus calm, this is just going to add another level to that, okay? So, to wrap this video up, guys and girls, here it is. It's important to understand with this specific product that Z Natural Foods hand-picked specific ingredients based on 3 concepts to create a nourishing and satisfying beverage to support an optimal mind-body connection. 1, the synergy of the ingredients, how they work together and do they support one another. 2, the versatility of the ingredients. Are they easy to use? Is the product easy to make and create what you want with it? Yes. And number 3, does it support optimal nourishment? Hell yeah, it does. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Stucino, Master Herbalist, here with Z Natural Foods, telling you to go out there and give the new product from Z Natural Foods, Matcha Green Tea Cashew Milk Powder, a try. You want to feel nourished, you want to feel invigorated, you want to feel satisfied, and you want to have that calm focus, this is the product for you. Mike Stucino, Master Herbalist from Z Natural Foods, signing out.